And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes, and oh man, I am back with another video. Now the reason I'm putting this video out today is because, like I said, in literally like 9 videos in a row now, season 2 is upon us. It starts Friday, and that being said, we get a new unlimited reward. I'm guessing they reset everyone's, at least their rank. I don't know if they're going to reset everyone's record. Which, tune in at the end, don't worry. I'm not going to be one of those YouTubers that hides his unlimited record. I stand by mine. But anyways, unlimited is, to be completely honest with you, probably the least enjoyable game mode in my team. I mean, yeah. I feel like a lot of people would agree with that statement. It's, for the most part, unless you're an absolute monster at this game, just kind of not an enjoyable thing to do or play or plan for or anything. So I'm going to provide you with a little bit of guidance in your quest to play Unlimited and to get these challenges done and stuff like that. So we're going to go over and we're going to start, and I'm going to go over some team building stuff. So yeah, let's just call this whatever, Unlimited, doesn't matter. But yeah, we're going to talk about team building and some general strategies for Unlimited to try to get next season's reward. Before we get any further, obviously, drop a like on this video. Comment down below if you have any additional tips that you didn't hear in this video, and yeah, subscribe. But here we go. So first things first, obviously the most important and first step is building a team for Unlimited, right? Now there's numerous ways that you can do this, and to be completely honest with you, not one strategy is going to be for everyone. I mean, especially when it comes to cards and stuff like that, it's very easy to get wrapped up in like new card fever and seeing a new card and being like, oh, I need that, I like that player and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, you really have to think about your playstyle, which is why it is important to go watch gameplay videos and stuff like that before you actually buy the cards. So when selecting a team, you have to go with your playstyle, like I was saying. Are you more of a rim running guy? Are you more of a 3-point hunter? Are you more of like a defensive-based team? So for me, I need a good defender at point guard or a good offensive scorer, someone who can shoot threes, someone who can take it to the rim, obviously, things like that. So one other thing that's extremely important when it comes to, I want to say, just team building in general, it is, obviously I'm just picking Darren Williams, I'm just picking some guys, but one thing that's extremely important is knowing your cards. And why that's important is not just for your own benefit, knowing the jump shots, things like that. It really is important for identifying what your opponent is going to do. Sorry, I had to take a nice drink there. So a good example of that would be if you're eyeing up your opponent's team and you're noticing certain trends and you see certain cards, you're able to defend against them if you know what the card can do. Like, let's say I'm playing Unlimited and I see the person I'm playing against is running a lineup like this. So they're running this type of lineup. Let's go with Derrick Rose, Michael Jordan. This is actually an example of a lineup I ran into earlier today. Dominique, Draymond, and Moses Malone. So this is a lineup I ran into earlier today. So just by looking at the players, you can pretty much tell right off the bat what they're going to be into. They're going to be a rim running team. There's no question about it. Really, Dominique shoots threes at a decent clip, but the only person who's like a 3-point sniper would be Draymond. Moses can't shoot them. Michael Jordan kind of can, but not really. Same with Derrick Rose. Why it's important to really know cards too is because 2K put in, the addition of upgradable and addable badges this year. They returned that from 2K19. You could run into the same card 3 different times, and it could be a different card basically all the time. So it's important to look at upgradable badges and kind of study that on every single player, just so you know. And, to be completely honest with you, it's important to really look into what the badges do in the first place. So you know if, by looking at a card, okay, he can do certain things, then you can play defense against certain things. So obviously looking at the gold badges, any one of them can be upgraded to Hall of Fame, so that's not really something you want to look at. What you want to look at are the badges who are lower than gold, which is Hot Zone Hunter, Pick Dodger, Corner Specialist, which I added to them just for funsies, and Floor General. So just knowing Derrick Rose that he can get any of these badges. So he could have Tireless Defender put on him. He could have Lightning Reflexes or Difficult Shots. Understanding that those badges may be added, you know, he could have Corner Specialist added. Now, if somebody gets him all the way up to Gold Corner Specialist, he could shoot from the corners if they're running 5 out. Understanding that right off the bat is going to be huge for your chances of victory, to be honest with you. Just because you want to understand what the cards are, especially if you're playing with someone who's using Derrick Rose in like their starting lineup. Chances are they badged him up, especially if he's surrounded by like diamonds and pink diamonds and things like that. Like if you see this type of lineup right here, this would be a more accurate example, actually, to be honest with you. So if you see this lineup, you can identify right off the bat that if he has Julius Erving, he has better cards than these two guys, okay? The reason that's important is because if he has better cards than these guys that, you know, are generally considered better, and he's still using them, you can tell what his playstyle is almost instantaneously. That is huge, and understanding what a card can do and what its limitations are going to be incredibly, incredibly important. Now, to be honest, like, let's just take a look at what a lineup I would use. Well, I wouldn't really, yeah, let's go that. So this would be more the lineup I would use against that in general. Just period. I mean, I would also use Julius Erving and Draymond, so he has that covered, but I mean, it is what it is. So let's just say I'm using something like this. Where's my man? Where's my man Stops at? Obviously, Chris Stops. But understanding that is huge. To be honest with you, just studying the cards. I mean, take 20-30 minutes and just go literally look at your cards. People just don't look at cards, and I understand that because I didn't do it for a while. But just looking, now that we have the upgradable badges and you can actually look to see what badges can be added to cards and excuse me, what they actually start with, you can start to get a better understanding of what you're going to be dealing with. Like, Darren Williams doesn't come standard with a lot of defensive badges, but if you start noticing him making off-ball defensive plays and stuff like that, or it's harder to really get around him and do things, you might be dealing with someone who's badged up that Darren Williams, and that's important to understand too, so you can't count on abusing them like you could normally. That being said, you're going to run into a lot of people with range extender. Range extender, once again, is really overpowered as per usual, and it's kind of an issue. Why is it an issue? Because people can shoot from damn near half court this year, like legitimately. Silver range is what gold was last year. I don't even, do we have anyone with half range right now? I don't even want to know how far away they can shoot from. But the first quarter of a game are incredibly, that's the most important part of an unlimited game. And I'll explain why. Generally, the first quarter is always going to be low scoring, lower than the rest of the game. And the reason for that is, or it could be hot, I don't know. For the most part, when I play, it's usually low scoring for both sides when we play. I'm not saying I'm like a defensive maestro or anything, but that's typically what happens. And the reason it's really important is because you can get a general feel for your opponent's play style. Now, if you're playing someone incredibly good, obviously they're going to do what I'm going to say next. By the way, I'm not incredibly good. I just want to make that available for public record that I am not a 250k type of player. Like, I am not that good at the game. Just want to say that. You're not dealing with like Isaac or someone here. You're dealing with me. But it's important because you can get a general feel for their playstyle. Which leads into my very next super important tip, which is switch up your playstyle. I cannot tell you how many people I've run into online that for the first 2.5 quarters of the game are getting to the basket with ease, rim running. And then all of a sudden I start to stop it, and then they freeze up and they keep trying to run rim every single possession. I know it worked for the first 2 quarters, but don't do it. You have to have an even distribution of your offense to keep your opponent on their toes. If you're rim running sometimes and shooting threes and 3-hunting the other times, and you're running like a 5 out, and then you stop running a 5 out, it's going to start messing with your opponent. If you're running plays for a few possessions and then you don't run any plays and you just freelance it, they're going to get confused. Anybody will get confused. Having a constantly changing flow of offense is huge. So just try to experiment with that. Honestly, who cares about your unlimited record? Quite frankly, that's a huge problem that I notice a lot of people have. is they kind of don't want to have a bad unlimited record, which I understand, but at the same time, like, who cares? Honestly, if you have a 500 unlimited record, don't let anyone shame you. Fuck them. Who cares? Like, practice. Just go in there and play unlimited. If you want to get good at it, literally just play, get better at it. Then when it comes to franchises, so when it comes to playbooks and things like that, and I'll touch on some more general tips in a little bit, but when it comes to playbooks, there's really no Apex playbook this year, to be completely honest with you. Heat 13 is pretty good. Like, it's decent. It's not as OP as it was last year, but it's pretty decent. Other than that, Hawk's playbook is still really, really good, as it was last year. I don't really know about Warriors playbook. I've never used it. Same with like Thunder playbook. I do run into people using like Raptors playbook. Rockets playbook does make a lot of sense, but it's basically like a lot of ISO plays and stuff, so I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't think playbooks matter as much as they used to. Just find some plays that you are able to memorize and that work well for you, and just run them periodically throughout the game, just like a normal offense. Coaching. Coaches make a huge difference. Right now at this stage in the game, coaches are extremely, extremely important, and I'm not kidding. I know it's daunting to have to go spend 60 to 80,000 on a coach, but I promise you, having someone like Mike D'Antoni, who fits my playstyle a little better, or Nick Nurse, is going to be a huge difference. As you can see, all of a sudden now Derrick Rose is gone from, let's see, what's he at, 73. All of a sudden now I have him out there with a couple floor general guys, Mike D'Antoni. Now all of a sudden he's up at an 81, more than manageable. Plus I have like corner specialist on him. He can hit threes, whereas a lot of people think he couldn't. This is why it's important. Michael Jordan, the same thing. I don't really know. I think he's at like a 69 three-pointer. All of a sudden, he's at a 77. So if he's wide open, he'll hit. Giannis is another thing. If I put a shoe on him, all of a sudden he goes about the same. He has like an 83-pointer all said and done. So that's why the coach is important. It depends how you play. Now, obviously, if you're a three-point hunter and you like to rim run, if you want to combine those two and kind of flow up your offense, Mike D'Antoni's where it's at. He provides boosts in like speed, three-point shots, ball handle, hands, so he can steal a little bit better, rebounds on centers, that's about it, and then like driving dunks and stuff like that. So that's actually pretty huge on him. It does help a lot of the players. If you want to go more for a balanced approach, Nick Nurse is pretty solid. He gives you a little bit of everything when it comes to most of the players. He doesn't have a three-point boost for point guards, so obviously take that into account when selecting your point guard, but for the most part, everyone else gets a three-point boost. Draymond does not, so your power forward will not. I believe it's not based on player, it's just based on position. So anyways, that's extremely important, like I said. But just knowing your enemy is the most important thing, and that goes straight for TTO as well. At this stage in the game, cards aren't incredibly overpowered yet, so if you see a card, you can generally tell what it's able to do, what it's not able to do. And like I was talking about, studying a card's badges and what can be applied and what cannot be applied to a card is going to be hugely important. Like, a good example is LeBron James. LeBron James is a very good card, but you know, just from looking at his upgradable badges, that the only things that can be upgraded are box, rebound chaser, pogo, back down, brick wall, and moving truck. So you know that he's not really going to be a crazy shooter. He does have some silver badges. He can hit the open shots, but you're not pulling up in people's faces with this LeBron James. And honestly, this card is extremely hard to defend, so just knowing that is going to be extremely helpful. You can't put range extender on him, any of that. Magic Johnson is the same thing. You can't really upgrade very many of his badges. You can upgrade 4, and they're not helpful for him whatsoever. Other things that you might want to know that will help you in Unlimited. The Klay Thompson glitch exists, right? Klay Thompson will match up on your center. You can stop that by switching the matchups in the beginning of the game, but as soon as you put in a new power forward and a new center, all of a sudden Klay Thompson, the matchups are gone, and Klay Thompson will switch down to them. So if you see Klay Thompson and you want to exploit that, literally just switch your power forward and your center out. Bam. Switch them out for your bench ones, run those guys off the bench unit, run your bench guys off your starting unit. All of a sudden you'll see massive opportunities with Klay Thompson just being abused in the paint. If they're running like Moses Malone and a couple other people, you know that you can free up an off-ball with your center and power forward because their spacing is going to be off. These are just the things that you need to really kind of take a look at. And to be honest with you, I see a lot of people hard off-balling, and I'm not one of those like stern, oh, you're trash if you hard off-ball. Fuck no, dude. I off-ball. Everyone off-balls. It happens. The key is just to have a good mix between on-ball and off-ball defense. If you see a guy's three-point hunting with a point guard, you know to switch right over to him and control that defender manually, because the CPU will just get crossed and have a 3-shot in his face every single time. That being said, if you see somebody's 5 outing, just make sure to switch over to every single individual defender as the ball is getting passed around the 3-point line. If you do that, you can contest shots a lot easier. If you don't do that, they're going to shoot non-contested threes almost every single time because the CPU just doesn't work, to be completely honest with you. So anyways, I hope these tips worked out. I was going to do some gameplay, but I'm having internet issues, so I do apologize for that. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. Drop a like on this video. Drop a comment. I'll be doing part 2 of this, which will be actually me going into like settings and actually playing some unlimited games and some gameplay and stuff like that tomorrow. So definitely make sure to check that out. And I'm actually going to go through like a little bit of team building and stuff. That being said, if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you, and I do want to do a couple shout outs real quick, just to end the video out. If you haven't already, man, go sub to my man Wildmont Gaming's channel. Reason for that is this dude has been the most helpful person towards me, like in the YouTube community, period. And he really hasn't asked for anything in return. He just helped me out. So definitely, if you're hearing this, go sub to his channel, drop a couple likes on his videos, help him out. My man just moved into a new apartment apparently, so that's probably pretty exciting. So go help him out, give him some likes, give him some views, sub to the channel. I'll leave his description, his link in the description, so go check him out there. Obviously, shout out to like Ty Debo and stuff like that. They use my account and shout me out all the time. I'm assuming some of you are here because of that, so shout out to them for hooking me up. But then again, I am letting them use my account for gameplay, so it's a chicken and egg situation. It doesn't really matter. But anyways, guys, I hope that Unlimited goes well for you on Friday. I hope Limited goes well. I do have a theory about who I think the card is going to be. I think the reward card this year, I was going to say year, but this season, I have a feeling for whatever reason that it's going to be Kiki Vanderwee. Like, don't ask me why. If he's not the reward, he's one of the rewards, probably for like TT offline or TT online. But I could see it being someone like Carmelo Anthony or Amari Stoudemire, is usually somebody that they put in the reward queue. And I just realized he's up on the screen. So I hope it's a good card, but we'll see. They kind of knocked it out of the park with Paul Pierce this year. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. I appreciate you guys, and take it easy.